would you do if you sacrificed everything for someone only to watch them become the favorite while you became invisible? Picture this. You're 16 years old. Instead of going to prom or hanging out with friends, you're packing your little brother's lunch, helping him with homework, and putting him to bed because your mom can't. Fast forward 16 years, and that little boy is now a successful doctor living his best life. Your mom? She's sober now, proud, and constantly gushing about how amazing he is. And you? You're the ghost in the family photos, the one nobody remembers to call. I'm Donna Robinson, and this is my story. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why I walked out of my brother's wedding and never looked back. Let me take you back to where it all started. When I was 16, my life changed overnight. My mom, Cynthia, had always struggled with alcohol, but that year, it spiraled completely out of control. She'd come home late, stumbling through the door, barely able to stand. Some nights, she didn't come home at all. My dad had left when I was 8, so it was just the three of us, me, my mom, and my 10-year-old brother, Ethan. Ethan was this bright, curious kid. He loved dinosaurs, asked a million questions, and had this infectious laugh that could light up a room. He'd follow me around the house, showing me his drawings, telling me about his day at school. But he was also just a child who needed stability, routine, and someone to take care of him. That someone became me. I remember the exact moment I realized I was on my own. It was a Tuesday morning in October. I was getting ready for school when Ethan came into my room, still in his dinosaur pajamas, holding his stuffed T-Rex. His eyes were red, like he'd been crying. "Donna," he whispered, "I'm hungry. Mom's not awake, and I don't know how to make breakfast." I looked at the clock, 7:15. School started at 8. I got up, walked past my mom's room, her door was closed, and I could hear her snoring, and went to the kitchen. I made scrambled eggs, toast, and poured him a glass of orange juice. I packed his lunch, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, apple slices, and a juice box. I helped him get dressed, brushed his hair, and walked him to the bus stop. When I got back home, my mom was passed out on the couch, still in yesterday's clothes. An empty bottle of vodka sat on the coffee table. I cleaned it up, grabbed my backpack, and went to school. That became my routine, every single day. Wake up early, get Ethan ready, go to school, come home, make dinner, help with homework, give him a bath, read him a story, put him to bed. Then, I'd do my own homework, usually finishing around midnight. Wake up at 6, repeat. I didn't have time for friends anymore. My best friend, Hannah Taylor, would ask me to hang out after school. "Come on, Donna, just for an hour. We're going to the mall." I can't. I have to pick up Ethan from school. "What about Saturday? I need to clean the house and do laundry." "Sunday!" "I'm taking Ethan to the park." Eventually, Hannah stopped asking. I'd see her in the hallways, laughing with other friends, and I'd feel this pang of jealousy. But what could I do? Ethan needed me. The school noticed something was off. My guidance counselor, Mrs. Patterson, called me into her office one day. "Donna, your grades are slipping. You used to be an A student. Is everything okay at home?" I plastered on a smile. "Everything's fine, just been busy." She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. But I couldn't tell her the truth. What if they took Ethan away? What if they put us in foster care? I couldn't risk it. So I kept going. I worked harder, slept less, and carried the weight of an entire household on my shoulders. When I turned 17, I got my driver's license. My mom's car was usually available because, well, she wasn't exactly in any condition to drive. I started picking Ethan up from school, taking him to his soccer games, his dentist appointments, his friends' birthday parties. I became his chauffeur, his chef, his tutor, his parent. One night, I was helping Ethan with his science project, a volcano made out of papier-mâché. We were in the kitchen, covered in paste and paint, laughing as we tried to get the proportions right. My mom stumbled in, reeking of alcohol. "What are you doing?" she slurred. "Helping Ethan with his project. It's due tomorrow." She squinted at us, swaying slightly. "You're such a good sister, Donna. Such a good girl." Then she turned and walked into her room, slamming the door behind her. Ethan looked up at me, his eyes wide. "Is Mom okay?" I forced a smile. "She's just tired, buddy. Let's finish your volcano." But inside, I was screaming. I was 17 years old and I was exhausted. I wanted to be a normal teenager. I wanted to go to parties, date, have fun, but I couldn't because Ethan needed me.
When I turned 18, I graduated high school. Barely. My grades had dropped so much that I didn't qualify for any scholarships. College felt like a distant, impossible dream. But I told myself it was okay. I'd work for a year, save money, and then figure it out. I got a job at a local diner called Betty's. It was a small, family-owned place with red vinyl booths and checkered florists. I worked the night shift, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., because it paid more and I could still be home in the mornings to get Ethan ready for school. My manager, Betty herself, was a sweet older woman who reminded me of what a mom should be. She noticed how tired I always looked. "You doing okay, honey?" she'd ask, refilling my coffee during breaks. "Yeah, just a lot going on." "You're too young to look this worn out. You taking care of yourself?" I'd nod, but we both knew it was a lie. The money I made at the diner didn't go toward college. It went toward groceries, bills, Ethan's school supplies, his new shoes when he outgrew the old ones, his field trips, his everything. My mom's disability checks barely covered rent, and even then I had to remind her to pay it on time. I opened a savings account, telling myself it was for college. But every time I'd save a little, something would come up. Ethan needed a new winter coat, the car needed repairs, the electricity bill was overdue. My savings account never grew past $300. Years passed. Ethan entered middle school, then high school. He was thriving. Straight A's, debate team captain, student council president. Teachers loved him. He had friends, went to football games, had a normal teenage life, the life I never got to have. And I was so proud of him. When he was 15, he told me he wanted to be a doctor. We were sitting at the kitchen table, eating spaghetti I'd made from scratch. "A doctor?" I asked, grinning. "That's amazing, Ethan. You think I can do it?" "Are you kidding? You're the smartest person I know. You can do anything." He smiled, that same bright smile when he was a kid. "I want to help people, you know? Like, I want to make a difference." My heart swelled. "You will. I know you will." Around this time, something shifted. My mom started going to AA meetings. At first, I didn't think much of it. She'd tried to get sober before, and it never stuck. But this time was different. She got a sponsor, went to therapy, and slowly, very slowly, started putting her life back together. I was happy for her. I really was. But there was this part of me, this angry, bitter part that kept asking, where was this version of you when I was 16, when I was drowning and had no one to help me? I pushed those feelings down. It wasn't productive. What mattered was that she was better now, right? By the time Ethan graduated high school, my mom had been sober for 2 years. She came to his graduation, sat in the audience, and cried when he walked across the stage. Afterward, we took photos together, me, Ethan, and my mom. She posted them on Facebook with the caption, "So proud of my amazing son. Can't wait to see what the future holds for you."
I wasn't tagged. I wasn't mentioned. Ethan got into a great college with a pre-med program. The tuition was steep, but he received some scholarships and financial aid. Still, there were gaps. Books, rent, food, transportation. I picked up more shifts at the diner. I worked doubles, sometimes triples, sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night. My body ached. My feet were always sore. But I kept going because Ethan needed me. He'd call me from his dorm, stressed about exams.
Donna, I don't think I can do this. Organic chemistry is killing me. Yes, you can. You've got this. Remember when you thought you couldn't build that volcano in 5th grade and you ended up getting an A? He'd laugh. That was because of you. No, Ethan, that was because of you. I just helped. You're going to be an amazing doctor. Thanks, Donna. I don't know what I'd do without you. I'd hang up, feeling both proud and hollow. Because while Ethan was building his future, mine was standing still. I was 24 years old, still working at Betty's, still living in the same small apartment, still putting everyone else first. Around this time, my mom and Ethan started spending more time together. She'd drive to his college town for lunch. They'd FaceTime every Sunday. She'd post pictures of them together on Facebook. Coffee date with my favorite person. So lucky to have such an incredible son. I wasn't in those pictures. I wasn't invited to those coffee dates. And when I'd call my mom, conversations were short, distracted. Hey, Mom, just wanted to check in. Oh, Donna, I'm actually heading out to meet Ethan for brunch. Can I call you back? She never did. It hurt. But I told myself I was being ridiculous. I should be happy they had a good relationship. I should be glad my mom was present in Ethan's life now. But the truth was, I felt invisible.
Ethan finished college and got into medical school. I was beyond proud. But medical school was expensive. Even with loans and scholarships, he needed help. So I kept working. I picked up a second job on weekends doing freelance bookkeeping for local businesses. I was tired all the time. My back hurt, my eyes hurt from staring at spreadsheets. But every time Ethan called to tell me about a good grade or a successful surgery simulation, it felt worth it. Then, when I was 28, something unexpected happened. I met Mark Scott. He came into Betty's one night, sat at the counter, and ordered coffee and pie. He was handsome. Dark hair, kind eyes, a warm smile. We started talking, and he came back the next night, and the night after that. Eventually, he asked me out. I don't really have time for dating, I told him honestly. Then let's not call it a date. Let's just call it two people having dinner. I agreed. And for the first time in years, I felt seen. Mark listened to me. He asked about my life, my dreams, my struggles. I told him about Ethan, about my mom, about everything I'd sacrificed. And he didn't judge me. He admired me. You're incredible, Donna, he said one night as we sat on his porch watching the sunset. Not many people would do what you've done. I just did what I had to do. No, you did what most people wouldn't. That takes strength. We dated for 3 years and he became my anchor. The one person who saw me for who I was, not just what I could do for others. Meanwhile, Ethan graduated medical school and started his residency at a prestigious hospital. He was living his dream. My mom was over the moon. She posted constantly about him. My son, the doctor. Couldn't be prouder. He's going to change the world. I commented on every post. So proud of you, Ethan. But she never liked my comments. Never responded.
Then, 2 years ago, Ethan met Sadie Kelly. She was a pediatric nurse, sweet, bubbly, with strawberry blonde hair and a bright smile. Ethan was smitten. He brought her home for Thanksgiving, and I could see why he loved her. She was kind, funny, and genuinely cared about him. They got engaged 6 months later. And suddenly, wedding planning consumed everyone's lives. My mom was ecstatic. She and Sadie went dress shopping, tasted cakes, toured venues. My mom called me once during this time. Donna, I'm so excited. Ethan's getting married. I know, Mom. It's wonderful. Sadie's such a sweetheart. I'm helping her plan everything. That's great. Let me know if you need help with anything. Oh, we've got it covered, but thanks. And that was it. I wasn't invited to dress shopping. I wasn't asked to help with planning. I was just there. I tried not to let it bother me. I focused on my own life. Mark and I were talking about getting engaged. He wanted me to meet his family, plan a future together. For the first time, I felt like I was building something for myself. The wedding was set for June. As the date approached, I felt this strange mix of emotions. I was happy for Ethan, genuinely happy, but I also felt this deep sadness I couldn't shake. Mark noticed. "You okay?" "Yeah, just... it's a lot." "You don't have to go, you know." "He's my brother. Of course I have to go." The wedding day arrived. It was beautiful. The venue was a rustic barn with string lights and wildflowers. Sadie looked stunning in her lace dress. Ethan looked happier than I'd ever seen him, standing at the altar in his tuxedo, tears in his eyes as Sadie walked down the aisle. I sat in the back with Mark. My mom sat in the front row, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. She was wearing a lavender dress and looked proud, happy, glowing. The ceremony was lovely. They exchanged vows, kissed, and everyone cheered. We moved to the reception hall, where tables were set with candles and flowers. Dinner was served, people laughed, danced, celebrated. Then came the speeches. The best man went first, telling funny stories about Ethan. Everyone laughed. Then Sadie's maid of honor spoke, talking about how perfect they were together. More applause. And then my mom stood up.
She tapped her glass with a fork, and the room went quiet. She smiled at the crowd, then at Ethan. "I want to say a few words about my son," she began, her voice warm and full of emotion. I felt Mark's hand on mine. He squeezed gently. "Ethan," my mom continued, "you've always been my pride and joy. From the moment you were born, I knew you were destined for greatness." My chest tightened. "Watching you grow into the incredible man you are today has been the greatest gift of my life. You've always been such a good son, so kind, so hardworking, so loving." She paused, her voice cracking. "Raising you has been my greatest accomplishment, and I couldn't be prouder. You're going to be an amazing husband, and someday an amazing father. I love you so much." The room erupted in applause. People were crying, smiling, clapping. Ethan stood up and hugged her. She kissed his cheek. And I just sat there, frozen. Raising him? She didn't raise him. I did. I was the one who woke up at 6 a.m. to make his breakfast. I was the one who stayed up until midnight helping him with homework. I was the one who worked 2 jobs to pay for his textbooks. I was the one who held him when he cried, who cheered him on at every milestone, who sacrificed everything so he could have a future. And she got the credit. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. I heard Mark's voice, distant and muffled. Donna, are you okay?" I stood up. I didn't say anything. I just walked out. I walked through the reception hall, past the tables, past the dancing guests, past the string lights and flowers. I walked outside into the parking lot, where the air was cool and quiet. Mark followed me. "Donna." I turned to him, and the tears came. All those years of suppressed anger, resentment, and pain came flooding out. "She didn't raise him, Mark. I did. I gave up everything, my childhood, my education, my dreams, and she acts like she did it all, like I don't even exist." He pulled me into a hug. "I know, and it's not fair. None of this is fair." I sobbed into his chest. "Why doesn't anyone see me? Why doesn't anyone care?" "I see you," he whispered. "I see everything you've done. And it matters. You matter." We stood there for a long time in the quiet parking lot under the stars. Eventually, I calmed down. I wiped my tears, took a deep breath, and looked at Mark. "I'm done," I said. "Done with what?"
Done being invisible. Done waiting for acknowledgement that's never going to come. Done sacrificing myself for people who don't appreciate me. He nodded. Then let's go home. We left. We didn't say goodbye. We just got in the car and drove away.
The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I knew what I had to do. I called my mom. She answered on the third ring. "Donna, why did you leave last night? Everyone noticed. Ethan was asking about you." "I left because I couldn't sit there and listen to you take credit for something you didn't do." Silence. "What are you talking about?" "Your speech, Mom. You said raising Ethan was your greatest accomplishment, but you didn't raise him. I did." "Donna, that's not fair. No, Mom, you don't get to do this. You were passed out drunk while I was getting him ready for school. You were at the bar while I was helping him with homework. You were nowhere while I was working 2 jobs to pay for his college." Her voice got defensive. "I was sick, Donna. I was struggling with addiction. That wasn't my fault." "Maybe not, but the consequences were, and I was the one who dealt with them. I was 16 years old, and I became his parent because you couldn't be." More silence. "I needed you, Mom, and you weren't there. Ethan needed you, and I stepped up because someone had to. And now you get to play the proud mother while I'm just forgotten." "I didn't forget you," she said quietly. "Yes, you did. When was the last time you called me just to talk? When was the last time you posted a picture of us together? When was the last time you told me you were proud of me?" She didn't have an answer. "I gave up everything for this family, my childhood, my education, my dreams. And I don't regret it because I love Ethan, but I needed you to see me, to acknowledge what I did, and you never have." Her voice cracked. "Donna, I don't want excuses, Mom. I just want the truth. Did you ever stop and think about what I sacrificed? Did you ever wonder how I was doing?" Silence. "That's what I thought." I hung up. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest. For the first time in 16 years, I'd said what I needed to say. A few days later, Ethan called. "Donna, what the hell? Mom's a mess. She's been crying nonstop. What did you say to her?" I told her the truth. "What truth?" "That she didn't raise you. I did." He went quiet. "Ethan, I love you. You're my brother, and I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished. But I need you to understand something. I gave up my life for you. And I don't regret it, but I need you to see me. I need you to acknowledge what I did. Donna, I didn't know you felt this way. Because you never asked. No one did. I always thought you were just being a good sister. I was being more than a sister, Ethan. I was being your parent." He was silent for a long time. Then, quietly, "I'm sorry. I don't want an apology. I just want you to understand." "I do. I mean, I'm trying to. It's just a lot to process. Take your time, but I need space right now. From you, from Mom, from all of it." "Okay, I get it." We hung up. It's been 6 months since that conversation. I haven't spoken to my mom. Ethan and I text occasionally. Short, surface-level exchanges. "How are you?" "Good. You?" "Good." It's not the relationship we used to have. And maybe it never will be again. Maybe that's okay. What I've learned is this. You can love someone and still set boundaries. You can be proud of someone and still feel hurt by them. You can sacrifice everything and still deserve to be seen. Mark and I got engaged 3 months ago. We're planning a small, intimate wedding. Just close friends. No big speeches, no drama. Just us, starting a new chapter. For the first time in my life, I'm putting myself first. And it feels strange.
uncomfortable even, but it also feels right. I don't know if my relationship with my mom or Ethan will ever be repaired. Part of me hopes it will. Part of me has accepted that it might not. And that's okay too. Because here's what I know now. My value isn't determined by how much I do for others. It's not measured by how much I sacrifice or how invisible I make myself to keep the peace. I matter. My feelings matter. My story matters. And if the people I love the most can't see that, then maybe they're not meant to be in my life. I've started therapy. My therapist, Dr. Reynolds, says I have something called parentification, when a child is forced to take on adult responsibilities. She says it's common in families with addiction or neglect. She says what I did was brave, but it also robbed me of my childhood. I'm working through it, slowly. Some days are harder than others, but I'm learning to forgive myself for being angry, for feeling resentful, for wanting more. A few weeks ago, Hannah Taylor, my old best friend from high school, reached out on Facebook. "Hey, Donna, long time no talk. Want to grab coffee?" We met at a local cafe. It was awkward at first, but then we started talking, really talking. I told her everything, and she listened. She said, "I always wondered what happened to you. You just disappeared." I had to take care of my brother. That's a lot for a kid to handle. Yeah, it was. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "You're amazing, Donna. I hope you know that." I smiled, and for the first time, I believed it. So here's my question for you. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Have you ever given everything to someone only to be overlooked? Have you ever been the responsible one, the caretaker, the one who held it all together while everyone else got the credit? If so, I want you to know this. You're not alone. Your story matters, your feelings are valid, and you deserve to be seen. Thank you for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to Hidden Hearth. We share real stories about real people, navigating the complexities of family, love, and identity. And hey, drop a comment below. Share your story. Let's build a community where everyone feels seen. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.